Welcome back to another episode with the Loudmouth Football. Guys, people, we are all waiting for that one transfer that hasn't gone through till now. We have Kishon in the house. Kishon Legista, right? I have not tagged his channel. His name is slightly too big, but I'm going to make the ramifications. Please do not shy away from hitting that subscribe button. But we are here to talk about someone who is an absolute waffler in the transfer market right now. That one club that we are going to be talking about is Arsenal Football Club, right? Kishon, what are your thoughts, man? What is happening in that situation right now? We've been hearing about Viktor Gyokeres joining the club since, um, the past 10 decades now. It's been so long. Like, it feels overly excruciating as an Arsenal fan, I'm sure. The one Arsenal fan that was supposed to turn up today, he ghosted us. So, yeah, unfortunately, you're the only one who's going to answer that question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, bro.
Yeah, listen, Arsenal Football Club. I thought you were going to mention United in terms of being a waffler in the
Of
market. I was
course,
expecting that.
United, even United, I'm not going to spare you, bro.
Yeah, I was expecting that you'd have said United. But listen, Arsenal, they've been in for Viktor Gyokeres for quite some time now. And at first it was Benjamin Sesko. I think that was Arsenal, the club was majority of the time linked with Benjamin Sesko. The fans would have wanted Viktor Gyokeres, just due to the fact that he was proven in a sense. Last season he scored like 30 something goals, I believe. The season before he would have scored like a good amount of goals as well. Scored goals at Coventry.
Correct.
Was at Brighton for a while, and he was more senior to a Benjamin Sesko. And I said to Arsenal fans, listen, nothing is set in stone in terms of signing one out of these two guys. Whoever comes at Arsenal and performs, then that's just it. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's much safer with a guy who has more proof in the pudding, which would have been Viktor Gyokeres. But due to the fact that, the signing hasn't, been announced as yet, we've heard that he would have agreed terms with Arsenal at what, 5-year deal, 6-year deal, something like that. I mean, it's quite surprising that they haven't announced Viktor Gyokeres as yet.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal, I think they've made it difficult for themselves in terms of how they negotiated at first with Sporting. Sporting from the get-go said, listen, we want the money up front. We want everything. And Arsenal decided that, listen, we want to, play around. And, the Sporting president kind of got upset. He was very vocal and these different type of things. I hear about the deal being at risk, but, I mean, who's going to buy Viktor Gyokeres at this point in time? Unless he gets frustrated himself and he's like, United, you guys can come in for me, But, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see that happening, to be honest. But, man, look, I think Arsenal need to keep the same energy, the way they kept when they announced the third kit. They need to keep the same energy for Red Victor Gyokeres. The fans, I think they're going to be frustrated as hell if this transfer falls out. The thing is, he's agreed personal negotiations, right? Personal terms have been agreed with Arsenal since the last 1 month. Yeah, since the last 1 month, the personal terms have been agreed. But we keep on seeing Fabrizio's tweets about um, Victor Gyokeres is still choosing Arsenal over Man United. Victor Gyokeres is still going to come to Arsenal, and we've seen such tweets ending in vain, right, for the club. So if this deal is not going through in a way, right, it might get stalled. The president might not agree with the transfer fee that Arsenal are offering at this point in time. What do you think is going to happen? Will they go for him in the winter transfer window? Is that a possibility? Do you think Arsenal are? It's stupid. It's baffling that you're not able to sign another striker if you know that this one might not go through, and you need another striker, right? You need someone scoring those goals for you because you've kept a couple of pansies on your fucking bench, bro. Right?
Yeah.
You've kept a Kai Havertz, you've kept a Gabriel Jesus who keep getting injured season on season. We've seen these players struggle in getting some match form, match fitness. And I'm sorry, people, I'm brutal with my opinions, right? No need to get any sort of rage bait or anything of that sort, right? I am pretty open with my opinions, and I hear people. I am a good listener as well at the same time. But yeah, Kishon, go ahead.
No, I mean, Arsenal fans, they've been trusting the process for quite some time now, right?
Yeah,
And since Mikel Arteta has been the manager, he has only signed Gabriel Jesus, and that's on him, like as the striker in a sense, you know.
Yeah.
Hasn't really replaced Aubameyang in terms of the goal scoring output that he would have provided. You know, Kai Havertz wasn't a striker; it was a midfielder. Turned him into a number 9 in a sense, and you know, obviously he's not clinical, and that's the main reason as to why Arsenal is even linked with Viktor Gyokeres or going in for a striker to some extent, right? So it would be baffling that they would be going in for a striker in the winter transfer window. Honestly, if Arsenal signs anyone else but Viktor Gyokeres or a striker, I think the transfer window is a failure at that. You know, you cannot wait until December, January to get a striker through the door. You know, you have to get a striker in the door now, and it's either Benjamin Sesko or Viktor Gyokeres. Alexander Isak would obviously be a bit more difficult in some sense if Arsenal was supposed to make a U-turn. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Right.
it's now or never for Arsenal in terms of getting Viktor Gyokeres. And again, I think he's desperate to leave. You know, the transfer window is very funny. You look at United. You know, people talk about United being broke. And to some extent, United might be broke, but clubs can be creative in terms of deals that they get done. And who knows? Maybe United can go in for Viktor Gyokeres. Maybe Viktor Gyokeres again might be frustrated with everything and gives himself to United. You know, maybe Ruben Amorim can make a convincing phone call as the former manager of Viktor Gyokeres, and he can get him through the door at Old Trafford. So you never know.
Yeah,
So
you don't listen. You don't need to bring in Man United in this situation. We all know how poor, how broke your club is. Sean,
yeah, but I'm just saying.
bro, listen, no disrespect, bro, but honestly, tell me one thing. Do you think Man United? It's just a smoke screen, in my opinion. I think it's just
Yeah,
something
but
which
what's keeping up the deal with Viktor Gyokeres now?
yeah, that's the thing, right? I think Man United. It's just they're treating it as a scapegoat in a way, right? They're not really wanting to blame Arteta or Arsenal. I think these rumors are just rumors. They're not something. There's no fact backing this up, right? It's just gonna be there, and of course, he's not going to join Man United, bro. Why would a player join another club when he's hell bent on supporting one project, right? Tell me that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And this is just what I feel, right? I don't know, like I agree, it might happen, like in the near future, but in this transfer window, I don't see it happening, bro. Like Viktor Gyokeres is not going to Man United, even if you guys are ready to splurge 100 million. Is there a way? I don't know if this works, how this works, but if the president agrees on 100 million pounds, suppose like United, we've seen that they splurge heavy amounts, heavy sums in the last couple of windows. They've done it. Is there a way that United, the president might agree with the deal, but if Viktor Gyokeres doesn't, is there a possibility of it going through or no? It won't, right? Because he hasn't agreed personal terms with it. But is there a way that you can actually convince him to come to the club? There might be, because he's worked with Ruben Amorim, you know, like he was with him at Sporting. Like there are pros and cons to the situation, but instead of speculating what is bound to happen ahead, I don't see it happening in this summer window. That is something which I'm really sure of.
Yeah. You know, I wouldn't see. It's hard for me to see Gyökeres coming to United. To be honest, um, you know, people talk about United being broke. Again, you know, that's factual to some extent, but I'm not in the back room. I'm not on the board to kind of see what United is doing. Again, you know, United, they have players who they can sell potentially to some extent. You know, you get some money for Anthony, you get some money for Jadon Sancho, you get some money for Alejandro Garnacho, then you might
Yeah.
have a deal on the cards in terms of a Viktor Gyokeres. I don't think wages would be a problem because then some of these guys would be on high wages that you would be releasing. You know, Matthias Cunha is, I think, on £200,000 a week. I think Mbuemo will be around, you know, maybe 180 to 200,000 pounds a week. So I think that's kind of fair in terms of United lowering the wage bill. So Viktor Gyokeres for me wouldn't be a concern. So for me, if United does get rid of the likes of Anthony, Jadon Sancho, and more so Alejandro Garnacho, because he could be a player who brings in good profit, I think again a deal could be on the cards for a Viktor Gyokeres. At this moment in time, it's not something that I see, but I do believe for the most part Arsenal will get this deal done. And listen, if it's a case where Arsenal fails to get the Gyökeres deal done, I think Arsenal fans have a right to demand Berta being out and
Yep.
Mikel Arteta or whoever is responsible, because at the end of the day, you're going to Chelsea and you're signing these rejects that they have, plus who aren't good enough for Chelsea, who aren't deemed good enough, and you can get a deal done in less than 1 week for no Madueke. So what's taking so long in terms of you getting Viktor Gyokeres when every fan of Arsenal know that a striker is the most important thing, more than Noni Madueke, more than Eberechi Eze, more than anything. A striker is the most pivotal part of puzzle for this Arsenal team. He's the missing piece to some extent. So you want to get everyone else, but you want to forget, or you want to just, diminish the importance of the striker while getting other players who, yes, they are important, but not as important as getting a Viktor Gyokeres to the door. So, I think they have to get the job done. I think they have to get him.
Look, just look at the squad, right? I've shown you all the visuals of all players that are playing for Arsenal right now. Take out Viktor Gyokeres from them. Don't you think this is enough for them to be scoring goals?
Come
on, bro. Be honest about it.
I mean, I'm not sure. What's the highest amount of goals? Gabriel.
Give that thought a pause. Let's just go to the
comments.
comments.
I have the answer. I mean,
no. Give it a pause. We'll address the comments first, right?
Yeah.
Are Liverpool still looking to sign Isak after the Ekitike deal? I think Isak is, bro, he's gone above and beyond. Like, it's over. I think Newcastle, the reason why Liverpool actually pursued Ekitike at such a short notice was because Newcastle closed the doors on Liverpool. I don't think they really want Isak to sign with another Premier League club, which is why they are so open for him to go to Saudi, play some Al Hilali football style, Saudi Arabians wear a couple of, what are those white things called, bro? I forgot. Oh God, are you searching for the white things? the clothing that men wear. Fuck it. But in my opinion, we should go for a center back and a DM. Yeah, I think we should replenish each and every position in our squad. But again, like coming back to the Isak situation, I would have preferred Isak, to be honest. In fact, I haven't even released a video on Ekitike on this channel right now, but I am planning to do it soon. I think Ekitike is like a hot mess. Like this is something which we should have not really delved into, in my opinion. But now we are too deep into it. We have paid this hefty amount for a player. We've done it in the past with Darwin Nunez. Again, I could see the tools, I could see the caliber, I could see the talent in Darwin Nunez. But when I look at Ekitike, his dribbling is on point, foot control brilliant, but physicality for a 6'3" foot attacker who's lanky, who's keeping his back, when he's keeping his back against the defender, he's not really able to give that tussle. You need a physically astute attacker in the Premier League to be penetrating the box. So I think in that situation, it might be tough, but this guy is a brilliant runner, brilliant reader of situations. I think it might help us with strikers who are really sharp inside the box. I think Ekitike might turn out to be something which we haven't seen. I think this is why Liverpool have high hopes from this signing, because they know he's going to grow with the club and he's not an established striker right now. He is going to be a part of the Onslaught project, right? So this is why I think this is, in my opinion, this is why Liverpool went for Hugo Ekitike, right? Isak, phenomenal, world-class, bro. Anyone would want him, right? Bro, Kishon, what do you think about this, bro?
What's that?
Yeah, Isak. The Isak deal collapsed. And in fact, Newcastle aren't really able to get their hands on any striker. They tried.
I don't think. Yeah. I don't think it's so much of a collapse in some sense. I don't think Liverpool did bid officially in some sense. Did you guys even put Isak in a situation where he could force a move? Is he the type of person to force a move? I think he would want to leave Newcastle United, but in a respectful manner to some extent, right? After serving them for a couple of good seasons, went to 2 finals, won out of the 2. So for me, I think, it was more interesting to see if Newcastle did get Ekitike. I don't think they would want to let go of Isak, to be honest. I think they would have been looking to just be ambitious in terms of signing Ekitike and keeping Isak as well. But Andre in the group is talking about the possibility of Isak to Liverpool, and I'm saying, where are you guys spending this money? it would be quite surprising for Liverpool to sign Isak. But yeah, I don't see it happening in this transfer window. I see maybe Rodrigo, because you guys would have to replace Luis Diaz if he does leave, So yeah. But in terms of just to chime in on Ekitike, I would have done a video this morning, and I think Ekitike is talented. I'm not sure if he's the answer for next season in terms of helping you guys to retain the Premier League title, especially seeing that the dynamic of the Liverpool front three shifting again. Diogo Jota is sadly not here with us anymore. God rest his soul. Luis Diaz is looking to force a move to Bayern. Mohamed Salah, will he be the Mohamed Salah of last season? I think he will. Darwin Núñez is leaving. He wasn't the most prolific in front of goal. I know that Florian Wirtz is coming into this Liverpool team, and he's quite good. We scored the amount of goals that he would have scored in Germany. So it's a whole shifting of dynamic for this Liverpool team. So again, I think Ekitike long-term will be a success. Obviously, he would have to prove me wrong next season in terms of what he will do. I don't think it's a case where he's just going to only score 5 goals in the Prem. I think he'll score goals. I'm just not sure if in one season he'll just transform into the striker who is the focal point of Liverpool that pushes you guys to.
No, we don't need him to be the focal point, right? Because Liverpool as a team.
No, when I say focal point, I don't mean scoring 20 or 25 goals. I mean scoring up in crucial moments, scoring goals when it matters in some sense. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end, again, Jota is not here with us anymore. God rest his soul. Diaz is looking to leave, and Darwin Núñez is leaving. So I'm saying there's a dynamic shift within that front three. You know what I'm saying? So at the end, you still need somebody to score goals. You know what I'm saying? And to put away chances. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just take a couple of more comments here. You have Gyokeres, stalled Gyokeres, hasn't stalled at all. Yeah, if he hasn't, why isn't the deal going through, man? You need to convince El Presidente back in Portugal to get the deal happen, bro. You've seen such situations collapse in the last couple of seasons. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but even if the club and the manager are hell-bent on hugging each other, it might never happen. Yeah, this is how it is, and this is the situation, and it's like Fabrizio is keeping you all warm, right? That's his job. He's getting clickbait is something which actually exists, right? This is something which makes him earn revenue out of everything. And in fact, everyone on YouTube is doing the same, right? So it's nothing big. But Fabrizio, out of all people, is just trying to keep you warm, right? Keep us warm. So
I've had a problem with Fabrizio this year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Say again?
No, I said I've had a problem with Fabrizio this year. I know that people normally say things about Fabrizio, but this year he has been very repetitive in terms of some of the news. And especially Zubamendi, and I'm like, bro, just post the thing when it's done. Like, you don't have to keep saying the deal has been agreed or some shit. Like, just update people when it's done. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it's the nature.
He's a reporter. He should not be reporting someone's demise. I think the most glorified coverage that he's had so far this season has been the Diogo Jota demise. Right? He's not. He is a transfer market reporter, whatever you want to call it. You don't see Ornstein or any other journal doing it, right? Why does he have the right to do it? In fact,
no, I think even to address that thing, I've been on TikTok and YouTube, and I see people talking about people even like making money off the Diogo Jota passing, and they're saying like it's not morally correct, and I disagree to an extent in the sense of when the news reports on anyone's demise, the news is making money. That's just the nature of being in media. It's not an on and off button about what videos you decide to monetize or anything like that. If you look at CBS, CNN, whenever tragedies happen, they report on these things, and for them they make money, not specifically on those things. They're going to make money regardless on what they report. But if you report on things and you make video about things, then that's just the nature of what you do, and that's in media. Some people might have an opinion that Fabrizio Romano did milk the situation. Personally, I think it was an unfortunate situation. I was happy to see like people were sharing moments of Jota when he was here with us.
I didn't have a problem with even I took a video out, right? Like Kishon, I made a video on Jota too, right? But it was an instantaneous reaction. Like the moment it came out, I was like I don't know. I was restless. I was not feeling in the right state of mind. It was 2:45 a.m. in the morning in Vancouver, right? So the situation, I presented what I wanted to, and I hear you. I think, yeah, I might be wrong here for sure. It is their job to do this. It is their, obviously, everyone is there to earn money. No doubt about that. But I don't know, man. It just seemed wrong. Even for me, I deleted that video, by the way. If you've seen it, I deleted the instant reaction that I gave to Diogo Jota's demise. I couldn't take it.
No, I think,
Yeah.
you know, personally, I don't think you should have deleted it.
Mm.
Again, it's you sharing your. I mean, you're a Liverpool fan at the end. You know,
Yeah.
you're closer to Jota than I would have been, or Liverpool Football Club, seeing that you're a Liverpool fan. So I just think like it's you sharing your reaction to the situation. For some people, they would have maybe waited like a couple hours to get their thoughts together, whatever the case is. Some people have been a bit more instant in terms of their reaction because it's a very unique situation in terms of I've never personally seen a high profile player like meet their demise in this way. In a sense, it's not even like we're talking about 20 years time where like everyone is like retired and he's in his 40s or 50s and then this happened where like all these guys are former teammates. I mean, I've seen players who would have met their demise, unfortunately, but more like academy players or players who are less known in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I just think with this one, it kind of shocked everyone in a sense more than anything. I mean, obviously, we would have seen Pele who would have died, unfortunately, Diego Maradona, but those were under circumstances. And then it was like we didn't really get to watch Pele and Maradona in a sense, and they were much older. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So it's like one day it would have happened.
Yeah.
You wish if it didn't happen, but it's kind of, I think this one had a bit more impact on football on a global scale more than anyone in a sense. So I just think that everyone's reaction just varied based on, the unfortunate thing.
Yeah. But moving back to the topic that we were on about, Riton says Slot just wants to distribute goals in 5-6, and we'll be switching from 4-4 to 3-5. Exactly. I think this is why you have a Florian Wirtz. You've got a Frimpong on the right. You've got a Gyokeres who's going to give you that balance defensively, and you have a Hugo Ekitike who might start as a number 9. But I still feel that Darwin Nunez might be the revelation that people have not been anticipating. I still feel that. I still feel he has something in him that might just click. You never know.
But we have 9 viewers watching. So for those of you guys who are watching, please like. The like button should reflect 9 likes. Also share the live stream as well. Share to your friends. I know that you guys are friends. I know that you guys are in football groups. So please go ahead. Retin Gandhi Football. Whatever the case is, your last name, please share the live and smash that like button as well. But
I mean, the next question that we have is who is winning the league? He wants the PL prediction from the both of us. I think who's gonna win the league? I think the way Liverpool are moving right now, I would like to say that we are gonna win the league. But you never know, man. You never know. I mean, it seems like a really heavy rebuild. You don't know how long will it take for the players to click, right? People are going to take out videos on explaining how great Hugo Ekitike is going to be in that system. I'm telling you, you're going to see loads of positivity coming in from Liverpool creators and neutral creators about Hugo Ekitike. But let's be realistic here. A bunch of new players in training, right? As long as they're clicking, well and good. You need the same replication on the pitch in those weeks, 38 game weeks is what really matters, right? Preseason beating Stoke City 5-0 behind closed doors or Darwin Nunez scoring a hat-trick doesn't matter. But it's a good, if you're showing good form in the preseason, that's really going to count in what is forthcoming, right, Kishan?
Yeah.
So who do you think is going to win the Premier League if you want to make a prediction right now?
It's very difficult to say in a sense, Obviously, I'm not like a guru or, well, not a guru, but like a genie or something like that. I think people are kind of sleeping on Manchester City in a sense. I just think that Pep Guardiola is like one of the greatest managers in world football in the history. I know that they've brought in Turkey and these guys, and obviously they're not at the level of like a KDB, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, whatever the case is, right? So it will take some time for them to click, especially seeing that they're in a new league. Pep would have brought some players or brought in some players from the January transfer window. We'd have brought in like some guys early in the transfer window, in the summer transfer window. We haven't really seen any much movements from Manchester City in the last couple of weeks. I guess there's not any more movements for them. If Edison does leave, then obviously they will be signing a goalkeeper to replace him, and I think he might be leaving as well. We've seen a couple of occasions where he has been close, and Galatasaray might be coming in with an offer.
Yeah.
So for me, I think they'll obviously eventually get a goalkeeper to replace Edison. Other than that, I don't really see anywhere else where City could strengthen. And I don't think City is a team that's just going to buy a player for buying sake. They're very meticulous in terms of what they do. Pep did stress that he doesn't want a big squad. So I think it's also Liverpool and City for me. If I was supposed to go with one, I would say Liverpool.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer keeping my feet on the ground. I'm not going to make a peer prediction for now, but I still feel I can tell you who's going to be in the top 4. Like, do not be surprised when I take Chelsea's name. And I know there's going to be one declusion from the top 4. I think one of the teams that is not really going to make it through is not going to name it, but I think Chelsea might upset someone, right? I think Liverpool is going to be quite comfortably in the top 4. Man City again are going to be there, right? United, no, not this season for sure, but at least top 6. They should try aiming for top 6. They've signed some phenomenal players, Brian Mbeumo. They already have Matheus Cunha, and I think you guys are going for another attacker, if I'm not wrong, or a midfielder.
I want to bring up something on screen, right?
Yeah, bring it up.
It's kind of interesting that somebody sent me this. So Gunnar talk, 23-year-old Hugo Ekitike has scored 44 senior goals. Is it on screen? Yeah.
Yep.
23-year-old Hugo Ekitike has scored 44 senior goals in his entire career. By comparison, Eddie Nketiah had scored 37 senior goals in much harder competitions by the same age. Hugo Ekitike, 95 million euros. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I already expressed my thoughts on that. I think we took a heavy gamble. I think it's going to be a huge gamble, and we are way too deep in it. Again, but FSG is not really... They won't shy away from splurging big on someone who they think is the right fit for the club. In fact, Darwin Núñez fits perfectly in that system. He does. It's just that his goal scoring has been absolutely baffling, right? But if you actually look at Nketiah wasn't really given a lot of opportunities at Arsenal. Even when he was scoring goals for them, right? And then he was on the bench again, and Arsenal fans started naming him as just average. Remember when he left for Crystal Palace? Nketiah still had a lot left in him. And it's just narrative, it's just narrative building in football on Twitter or on social media. If a player gives you 2-3 bad performances and he's benched for 2-3 months, bro, they forget about him. That's how it happened with Nketiah too, right? But with Ekitike, I think it's going to be a slightly different situation. Bro, you need to understand that Liverpool is an organization which is thriving. One of the clubs in the Premier League that are thriving, right? One of the most in sync teams that you will find on any worldscape right now. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think, in fact, we should be more worried about him growing individually as a brilliant player. I think with the system, he's going to work really well. He'll fit really well.
And to the Hugo Ekitike thing, obviously, with him just having 2 seasons in Germany, last season scoring 15 goals in the league, obviously it's a big risk in some sense. I've always expressed that I trust, Liverpool's recruitment, especially if you look at Liverpool historically speaking in terms of players that they would have picked up from Germany. More times often than not, they tend to work out. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, 95 million euros is a huge price tag for Hugo Ekitike. But I do think he has a higher ceiling than Eddie Nketiah and what Eddie would have done at 23. I mean, Eddie Nketiah is 26 now, and he hasn't done jack shit at Crystal Palace Football Club. And Hugo Ekitike, with him walking into this Liverpool team, under the brilliance of Arne Slot, having the likes of Wirtz, Mohamed Salah there, just looking at the highlights of the guy. I mean, obviously highlights don't tell the full story, but I think he's a talented player who will succeed at Liverpool. I believe so. I think he has a higher ceiling than Eddie Nketiah. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I would honestly, I think we are gonna see what really goes down, right? But let's just put a break on this conversation for now. But shifting our focus back on Arsenal, they are not really ready to splurge another 1.5 million pounds on Gyökeres, bro. Imagine, to secure a deal, they're not really ready to splurge that much amount to bring a player to the club that they really want at the club. Do they really want him? They would have paid a few quid extra, bro. You know, they would sign a Viktor Gyokeres and not any other, have no other acquisition. They don't need any. They have plenty of talent in that squad. And if this season, bro, and the reason why I'm so, I don't know, I'm just perplexed about the situation is because we have been looking at their fan base, bro. The chest that they show, man, it's uncalled for. Even now, bro, I'm telling you, if you have Arsenal fans in the chat, some of them, if they are not level-headed like BBK Sports is, right, they're gonna lose it. They're gonna rage bait, right? And where did that chest come from, man? Win something first, right? My ground were pretty much on the feet even last season, but now I'm just done with this fan base, man. Like, oh god, bro. Like, these guys, you know, there's a picture of Mohamed Salah. I'll show you, bro. Fuck them. I'll show you something. Wait. Mo Salah. You'll find it funny. Where is it? Yeah, but that's beside the point. You know, I know Arsenal fans who are really good, level-headed, and who don't really rage bait people. But this one picture that I saw, I can't find it, man. Yeah, see, look at this. Look at this. Look at this, my friend. Look at this. Since Harry Kane and Aubameyang left, Mo Salah's tap-in and penalty goals have been helping in getting closer. These guys don't have the audacity to get near a title. Tottenham won something before them. Who the hell are they to even get this picture generated on an artificial intelligence app? Who the hell are they to use Grok to get this image generated, bro? How disrespectful is this? Mo Salah is a Golden Boot winner not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times. In all the leagues, 4 times, right? And the level of disrespect. He hasn't even signed with Arsenal yet. Look at this. No, I'm not getting angry, bro. I'm not getting angry, bro. This is just, I'm just I'm really compassionate about football, about everything in my life, right? And I've been noticing this trend since the longest. Like, Arsenal fans are like riding some other tide that we are not aware of. Is it maybe sniffing a couple of lines of cocaine or brown sugar? I'm not really aware of that. Or they're drinking too much Indian tea. Maybe I don't know about that, but
I think
yeah,
Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal fans are quite different in terms of how they jump the gun in a sense. And I just enjoy the demise of Arsenal. Honestly, I just enjoy them not winning anything. To be fair, it's a weird club. I must say it's a very queer club in a sense. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sean is just trying to be a little diplomatic here, but okay. Yeah, he left his girlfriend
I mean,
just
I
to become
remember when they
Arsenal
signed
player.
when you know we had the 2018 World Cup, I believe it was, and you know, Torreira was playing for Uruguay, and you know they signed him, and you know Arsenal. The conversation from Arsenal fans is, oh, he's better than N'Golo Kante, and I'm like, bro, what? This guy hasn't done jack shit in football, and he's better than N'Golo Kante. I remember when they signed Thomas Partey and they made a song for him. You know, they're making murals of the set piece coach. Like, who does that, bro? Like, you have to be sick. Like, that's absolutely disgusting behavior to make a mural of a set piece coach and you've not won anything. Something is actually wrong with them, like in the brain, honestly. Yeah.
Bro, it's not just this post. In my opinion, United will be in top 10. I don't predict the position, but Spurs can upset I really like Frank as a manager. Chelsea can upset and can be in the top four. I agree. I think United might be in the top five, top six, top seven, bro.
Yeah, I
This
don't see
season,
United in I don't see United in the top seven. I think that's where
you
the club
don't.
should be aiming for. If they get a striker in who can score goals, then fair enough. I think that's a possibility. But yeah,
I think Spurs will lack consistency, and they might not even finish in the top six for me. Villa and Newcastle better than Spurs for me.
I have one question, right? Where does Travis Simmons fit into this Chelsea team?
In the Arsenal, I think Arsenal are chasing him, right?
Yeah, but Chelsea they've just made contacts with him.
Or they have. Can you share that?
Yeah, one sec.
Yeah, I think Spurs will lack consistency. Yeah, even Thomas Frank expressed his thoughts about this. That listen, a new manager coming to the club, do not expect us to hit the ground running. We are not gonna win a string of fixtures on the go. Give us some time. We might have a few losses, but I'm telling you one thing, right? I'm telling you one thing right now. You've seen the Spurs squad. You've seen the talent that this squad possesses, right? Last season, unfortunately, they were a victim of injuries, which people were not ready to accept. You know what? Football fans have been fed this opinion with a golden spoon in their mouths by their fathers that injuries are not to be accounted for. Injuries are not going to be a primary factor in how a club season is seen out. Even Daniel Levy agrees with that, which is why Postecoglou was sacked. Poor guy, right? He won them a fucking trophy in what, 17 years? But the fact is, that might be a technical decision no matter what. Thomas Frank is a renowned coach, but at the same time, shifting our focus to Javi Simons. Kishon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it says breaking. Chelsea made contact with Travis Simmons' camp as he's keen on the move. Travis Simmons has opened doors to Chelsea project as direct contacts took place with his agents today. Club talks will start from Tuesday, as Chelsea and RB Leipzig will discuss deal conditions for Xavi. For Chelsea, this deal also depends on outgoings as Nkunku, Joe Felix, Sterling, Nico can all leave soon. Arsenal remain
Wow.
also very keen on Travis Simmons, but Gyökeres and outgoings remain the main priority now.
Whoa. 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 Javi Simons, bro.
But where does he fit into this Chelsea team? I mean, I
He
suppose if
doesn't.
Nkunku is leaving, then kind of takes that
He
precedence.
doesn't. He's just going to have another career like Nkunku. He shouldn't be coming to Chelsea. I'm telling you. He shouldn't be coming to Chelsea. Maybe in Arsenal, he would have worked out well as a ball carrier. I think he loves carrying the ball ahead. But in Chelsea, bro, they want Pedro Neto to run the game for them. They want Cole Palmer to get the limelight. This guy is going to get nothing. He's going to get
Yeah,
no control over the game at all. This is just my opinion. This is what I feel.
and I think his minutes will be limited as well because you already have Palmer in the 10. It's kind of difficult.
Passion is what we love. Football, Philorix. Brilliant, bro. Martinelli is better than Mbappe for Arsenal fans. Yeah, it's fine, bro. It's fine. Not really. I don't want to lose my shit over what Arsenal fans are sharing online. But why this Arsenal always in the same transfer market striker must be our first priority. Last season we missed lack and talk about striker everywhere. But now when Gyökeres want what the hell Arsenal? Yeah, it's just that it's not the club's fault, right? But at the same time, I don't even blame the manager. It is up to the board if they are ready to expend more funds, maybe £2 million, a tad bit more for Gyökeres, he will come and join the club because personal terms have been agreed. It's just a matter of time, right? If the deal is agreed by El Presidente back in Portugal, Sporting, he's going to be happy. Arsenal's going to be happy. Gyökeres is going to be happy. Everyone is going to be happy. But then the expectations from Arsenal to win the Premier League title are going to skyrocket once again. They are going to be in the limelight for the wrong reasons, maybe because season on season we have been seeing under Arteta that they've struggled to get it across the line, right? Kishon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Right. But what do you think about Javi Simons with Arsenal or Chelsea?
Um, I think Arsenal would be a better fit in terms of them wanting. You know, the thing is, I think Arsenal's play is more midfield than the wing in a sense. I think Chelsea's plays a bit more emphasis on the wings, right? And then you have Cole Palmer, who's the like center of everything, kind of like I wouldn't say dictates everything to an extent. He is the creative force, but I wouldn't say he's the sole dictator of this Chelsea team in terms of how they tick. I think Arsenal with the likes of Martin Odegaard, the likes of Zubamendi, Declan Rice. I think Travis Simons would be good in the sense that he could provide fair enough competition across that midfield to Declan Rice and more so Martin Odegaard in a sense, right? And I think if anything, you could also have the variety of like dropping Declan Rice in the 6 or playing Zubamendi in the 6 and then playing both Travis Simons and a Martin Odegaard in a sense, right? And you could have that control in the midfield in terms of what you want to do creative wise, them spreading the ball out wide, that type of thing. So I think Arsenal would be a better fit. And I've always said, I've seen Chelsea being linked with players in the last couple of days, and I'm like, what more does Chelsea need? How many more players do they need in a sense? I just think that looking at this Chelsea team, they'll be pivot of Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, you already have Cole Palmer in that 10. I mean, where does Travis Simons fit in this Chelsea team? I really and truly don't see where he fits unless, Cole Palmer is injured or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of baffling to some extent.
Before we move on to Man United, bro, let's just take this one comment. For Arsenal, Eze sounds more good than Xavi Simons because at this time, Odegaard, Rice, and Zubimendi are starting. Yeah, from the left, right? Because I don't even see him fitting in the middle with that squad. They would want Zubimendi, Declan Rice to surge ahead, right? Odegaard playing as a nicker near the box, trying to supply the balls to Saka, to the striker, the so-called Mr. Viktor Gyokeres, if he is deemed to join the club. But moving on from that conversation, bro, we have a Brian Mbeumo. Look at that bald head, bro, shining out loud. Look at his daddy, bro. Kishon, focus.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to? Who are you chatting up? Bro, you're on a live show, bro. Come on. Okay. You have the brilliant Brian Mbeumo on the show, right? Look at him.
Yeah.
He's shining out loud. Look at the beautiful black Manchester United logo at the back.
So is that his dad, right?
That's his daddy, bro. And that's gonna be your daddy too, bro. Man United daddies, bro. Yeah. But on a serious note, what do you think about this transfer? Are you happy that he's finally there at the club?
For the most part, yeah. I think he was drawn out. I'm not really excited about any transfers, honestly. Transfers, it's not something I get worked up about or excited.
Yeah.
Unless United signed Mbappe, then yeah. But I think it's good. I've always said that. Well, in recent weeks, I've always said that this is the first time United have actually signed players from in the Premier League, but better players from their respective teams in a sense. I mean, we would have had Fellaini and Sneijder over the years, but they weren't really like the best players for their respective teams when we got them. Cunha and Mbeumo, you could argue that they were the best players for their respective teams in terms of Wolves and Brentford. So I'm quite happy with the signing. I think the price tag is fair as well. 4 seasons in the Prem, and he has steadily improved in terms of output. Last season, Ivan Toney wasn't there, and he stepped up to the plate, scoring 20 goals. So in terms of the signing overall, I'm quite happy. Just interesting to see where he will fit into this team with Cunha and Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, I'm excited for the most part in terms of the acquisition.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, man. I think Brian Mbeumo is a beautiful, beautiful striker. I think even if he would have come to Liverpool, I think we would have adjusted him quite well. A good backup addition to Salah, playing on the left too. He can play in all those 3 positions. Again, like you mentioned, Yvonne Bisa and Brian Mbeumo, they hit the ground running without an Ivan Toney, who unfortunately departed after what seemed like more like a money lucrative signing for him and the Saudi club. But what apart from Brian Mbeumo, is United looking at some other player to sign, or are you done for this summer transfer window?
Personally, I'm not sure. I know that Fabrizio did state that United is interested in a striker. Not sure as to obviously in terms of how it was worded, it's not going to be like a Jamie Vardy or Calvert-Lewin, none of that bullshit. So I think you're looking to spend some money.
That was funny.
I'm not sure as to who the striker will be.
Couldn't believe my eyes that you're being linked with Jamie Vardy.
I know that
what
Nicholas
is he
Jackson
do?
was offered to United. I have a problem with Jackson. I don't have a problem with him. He wouldn't be my first choice. I would rather Ollie Watkins. But I think United, I think they're still looking for that striker. And if Onana does leave, then I think Fabrizio did state that there's a goalkeeper from Royal Antwerp in the Belgian Pro League that United might be looking at as well. So interesting times in terms of what United does in this transfer window.
Mbeumo could be the perfect addition to Liverpool. Brilliant signing by United, in my opinion. Yeah, it's great that they got the player at the club. But Man United again, bro. But you got to hear this, okay? United are the only club who believe in getting wets. Unlike Chelsea, who've done it in the past because of a crisis situation, like bringing in Thiago Silva. But you guys re-signed Johnny Evans, right? And he turned out to be quite a mature addition in that squad. But sort of started regressing with his performances, of course, because of his age and because he's had a lot of time on the pitch, right? And being used as a super sub, whatever you want to call it. But I don't see the possibility of this happening at this point in time, but you never know. United might do a panic buy because tell me, you guys still have that pull. You guys still have that pull. It'll take you another season or two to completely tarnish it. Do you believe that is going to happen, or do you think, given the history, given the prestige, given the heritage value with Manchester United, that is inevitable? What do you think?
I think the pull for the most part is gone in a sense. Honestly, 2 more seasons and United not doing anything, I think then we're dead in the waters in terms of quality players that we can get. United, next season they have to improve massively in terms of getting in the top 7 in a sense. United to pull that to have that pull again, where like every player like wants to come to United even more. I think they have to find themselves in a tighter race at least in the next 3 seasons, and then you can attract even better players in a sense. I cannot wait until the day, hopefully I live to see that day where United is actually winning major trophies again, because I think by then, the type of players that will want to come to United, it's going to be like, the likes of City and Arsenal, they're going to be dead in the waters, honestly. In modern day football, if United gets back to the top unit, I'm telling you, we're going to attract like some quality players.
When? Say again. What year?
Now I'm saying I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but whenever that happens, then United, yeah.
No, but still, you might have something in your head, right? Like if the squad works out well, of course you'll be in the top table this season. What are you talking about? Do you think they've signed Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha to be in the bottom half? No way, man. That's not happening. You guys are going to be in the top 10 for sure this season. Last season was a glitch. There was a glitch. You should have never gotten rid of Ten Hag. He would have retained that number 8, number 7 position for you. You can't expect a manager like Amorim coming into your new league, and then not every manager is going to be like Arne Slot, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Liverpool hires the best. I'm just fooling around, bro. But bro, look at this, man. My fellow brother, South Asian, bro. Like we are nowhere in the landscape, bro. We don't get to see ourselves, bro. Come on, look at this. Beautiful.
This is Indian guy.
Yeah, this is an Indian guy, bro.
How do you pronounce his name?
Huh? Sorry?
How do you say his name?
Sudarshan Gopala Desikan.
Mm.
Sudarshan Gopala Desikan.
Man, he's the actual technical director of Newcastle.
Exactly. He was a technical director with Atalanta. Imagine, intelligence. And now he's going to be leading football data operations for men, women, and academy team. Bro, Newcastle United, big signing, man. This is the biggest signing for them in the transfer window. Hiring a South Asian nerd, probably he came out of MIT or Harvard, somewhere like that, and then made a big name for himself. I'm pretty happy about that though. But
It's a
let's
big
see.
deal for Indians.
Yeah. Marcus Rashford's main role at Barcelona will be to cover Rafinha and allow Brazilians to rest. Oh God, that is so disrespectful, bro. That is so disrespectful. From seeing a Rafinha play for Leeds United, see, I'm not going to take the shine away from him. I think his rise was justified in a way, right? He's done really well for himself at Barcelona. But Marcus Rashford, bro, I think he is still one of the best talents in the world right now. It's not about the performances. I know he's been absolutely abysmal with his attitude, performances, camaraderie, not really sticking out with the manager, yada yada. But bro, Marcus Rashford, bro, I still think if you ask me this question, which footballer do you think has not truly lived up to their potential? I would say Marcus Rashford. Because this guy could have been the world's number one. He could have beaten Mbappe. He could have beaten the best of the best footballers in the world, bro.
I'm not sure
But
about that, but what I will say to Marcus Rashford, and I think you should clip this and put it on TikTok, is fuck you, Marcus Rashford. Yeah. And
what the hell? Why?
and I want to clip this as well, and I'm going to clip it. Culture Cams, you are an absolute asshole, and fuck you too. Reason being, people bring up racism in everything. You know, I think we live in a sensitive world, right? And anytime you have an opinion that, like, you know, someone disagrees with, especially if you're white in a sense, it's like, oh, you're racist. Like, there's an undertone. I think Dean Saunders on Talk Sports said something about Marcus Rashford not deserving a move, right? I think Teddy Sheringham said something about Marcus Rashford not deserving a move to Barcelona. There's no racism in that, Yudi. I believe wholeheartedly Rashford does not deserve this move to Barcelona. And as much as I want United to get some money off Rashford, I want Rashford to fail at Barcelona, come back to United, and head to a club like Everton, Aston Villa, one of those clubs. Marcus Rashford doesn't deserve anything that is good within football. He has done nothing to deserve it. I'm saying that 100%. He hasn't done anything in football to deserve that move to FC Barcelona. Marcus Rashford is an absolute prick, an absolute asshole, and disingenuous piece of shit. I'm being honest.
Oh my god.
I'm being honest.
Come on, don't go so hard on him, bro.
He hasn't done anything.
Okay, I hear you. I know where
He's
you're
a
coming
traitor.
from.
He's an absolute traitor who thinks he's actually better than what he is. And I said to people, Marcus Rashford's name and rise to prominence was not based on performance. It was based on the fact that he's at Manchester United. United is automatically going to give you a name. What has Rashford done at United that is exceptional, other than the one season? What?
Bro,
Nothing.
that's the thing, right? The managers have not liked him at all. He might have a stinker of an attitude, but then, bro, this is the best player that you had, man. This is the best you had. You when he plays on the pitch, bro, there's another aura about your team altogether. You know that. You can't deny that.
I don't care about this word aura, bro. Like, aura doesn't win football games.
Right. I know that, but then aura does lead you somewhere, bro. In the long term, if you have a good aura around the team, bro, they might lead somewhere. But for me, I think Barcelona has done the right thing, bro. Imagine Marcus Rashford. He's in the prime of his career, the peak of his career. 28 is the prime age, okay? He has an opportunity to replicate the same form from Aston Villa at Barcelona, bro. He is supremely talented. This guy is a great manipulator on the ball. I agree. Sometimes he just lacks that confidence to make the play.
The only manipulating Rashford is manipulating.
But he's going to be brilliant. Bro, 35 million? Are you telling me 28 million pounds?
Listen, the only manipulating Rashford is doing is women. He's not manipulating that football.
I disagree. I think we can agree to disagree, but I think 28 million pounds after that loan deal, if Barcelona really want to sign him, that's an option, right? 28 million pounds for Marcus Rashford, man. Even I would want him. Even I would want a Marcus Rashford. Honestly, I think Rashford's a brilliant footballer, bro. It's just sad that he didn't really work out well for you guys in the long term of things, but it is what it is, right? And I respect your opinions. You know, I really respect your opinions. You know that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another creator. I have said this before. Liverpool are ambitious and want to make a statement securing the club for the next 4 to 5 years in the signings they're making today. Isak to Liverpool will be game over for Arsenal and City. But it's not, bro. It's not going to happen. In fact, this is one of the most discredited profiles I've seen out there. Indy Kyla News, he's a joke. He's a joke, but don't really fall for him. Well, beast, bro. Everyone is well aware of him. 92.5 million for a striker, averaging 10 goals per season in the last 3 years. See, these are the sort of the hate tweets, and these might be factual too in a way. We are yet to see what really happens with the Ekitike situation, but I still feel like, yeah.
Sorry to cut you, but I dislike Mark Goldbridge and some of these guys, and I wish the fans had a bit more common sense. I'm seeing a tweet by a United stand saying that Chelsea values Nicholas Jackson around 80 million to 100 million pounds. We know that's not true. Chelsea does not value Jackson at 80 to 100 million pounds. They would not be that stupid. No Madueke was at 55 million
What?
pounds. No, Nicholas Jackson is not valued at that. I don't know why these guys tweet this bullshit, bro. Like, you know,
Are you guys looking for a striker?
yeah.
Right? And Nicholas Jackson is one of the people who is on radar, right?
But bro, he's not valued at 80 million to 100 million pounds. That's the thing.
Bro, we need to take this comment. It's not aura, it's Laura. Fuck you. If you were Indian, you would have laughed with me. But big BBK, bro, big up, bro. Big up. We miss you, man. We had this. I had an outburst. I went on a rant about your club, bro. It was bad, but yeah, I'm recovering well now. It's been 55 minutes. We've been on the live. Yeah, I'm doing good now. But yeah, Kishon, continue, man.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't think he's valued at 100 or 80 to 100 million pounds, you know, and United wouldn't be that stupid. We don't even have that money to sign a striker right now, you know. I think, you know, if we do have 100 million pounds, then it's going to be split between two players, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I could never see Jackson leaving for that amount of money. There's no club that would buy Jackson for that amount of money.
Listen, Nicholas Jackson is a brilliant talent, right? You've seen him play, bro. He's a brilliant runner. He's intelligent. It's just that he's not tenacious enough. I agree. Maybe he might just fumble here and there. I agree. He's done it in the past season. Not one of his best seasons. But when he started for Chelsea, 3 months, 4 months, he was an absolute abomination. You can't deny that, right? But, bro, Nicholas Jackson, in my opinion, will fit your squad. You need someone who's sturdy enough to be competing in that box. You need someone who's going to be penetrating that final third. You need someone who's going to be diminishing the quality of the opposition. And Nicholas Jackson is not a bad buy. Of course, 70 million is a bit too absurd for him, but he at least he should be worth 40, 45 million. You know,
The thing
that's
is,
something.
you know, he
Yeah.
wouldn't be my first choice. I want Ali Watkins. People keep mentioning his age, but I think the age thing is just ridiculous. You know, Viktor Gyokeres is what 26, 27. He's not far off Watkins. So yeah,
You want Watkins at the club?
yeah, that's my first choice.
Yeah, he's one to fit too. I think Watkins will fit too. But if you're looking for a younger edition, Nico Jackson isn't a bad shout as long as you get him for cheap. And also, there's another guy who plays for Ajax. What is his name? Robbie, the striker.
Mm.
Physically, he's really omnipresent. He's really quick, bro. One of the rarest profiles I've seen. Again, with Hoyland, the situation with him too, bro. I don't know what happened. Why does he have such poor retention of what he's doing in the moment? Why is he such? Why is he so weak as a footballer? You know, like when you look at him, when he's holding the ball, when he's dropping his shoulder, when he's making a run for it in the box, why does he look so weak? What has gone wrong with him? Why does he look like a Darwin Nunez from the last 2 months who got no game to play? And you could see that he has not really received any training, nothing of that sort, because he was literally on the verge of departing. Now the situation looks slightly different from insider lens. But what do you think? Yeah.
You know, I don't have the answer to the Rasmus situation. I know that Inter Milan is in talks with United, but the deal is at a standstill right now. United is, you know, kind of drawn away from the negotiation table. I just think that they're assessing certain things. But you know, Rasmus Hoyland, there's not much to say about Rasmus, to be honest. You know, not really much to say about him. You know, I think, you know, United, I think we just have to cut away losses and, you know, get rid of him to some extent.
Yeah. But I guess we'll save this conversation for another time. Our friend Kishore needs to really depart. Um, but yeah, it was nice coming on live again, Kishore. Any departing thoughts?
Um, I think the remainder of the transfer window will be a bit more exciting. So I'm looking forward to what, you know, the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, and United gets done as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna part the stream on a really good note. The transfer season has actually been quite a rumble, right? Like the situation's so mashed up, you don't know which player is gonna go to which club. But for Liverpool, I've never seen us move this big. Like shocker after shocker after shocker. Onslaught comes in, we win the Premier League, we are in the finale of the Carabao Cup. We signed so many players, bro. This is unbelievable. In fact, I'm still digesting the fact that we've moved so big, right? But on that note, on that optimistic note, let's just end the show. Thank you. People who are new to the channel, please subscribe before you leave. Please like. Check out Kishon's channel link as well. I did not put it on the description, but I'm going to put it right away. Please check it out. Thank you.
Yeah.